On the afternoon of November 24, 1971, a nondescript man in a suit and black tie calmly boarded Northwest Orient Flight number 305 in Portland, Oregon, using the name Dan Cooper. Little did anyone know, this Thanksgiving Eve flight to Seattle would soon be interrupted by an incredible act of air piracy by the mysterious Cooper. What happened next would launch one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in FBI history that has gripped the public imagination for over 50 years. After the Boeing 727 took off, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant stating he had a bomb in his briefcase and demanded $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. Despite initial skepticism, Cooper opened his attaché case, revealing a mass of wires and red cylinders which authorities later confirmed contained a live explosive. The twin-engine jet was grounded in Seattle, where Cooper allowed the 36 passengers to leave after obtaining the ransom money and parachutes. But he kept several crew members hostage as the plane took off again under strict orders to fly at a low altitude with the landing gear deployed on an eastbound course toward Mexico. Sometime after takeoff from Seattle, Cooper accomplished the unimaginable. He secured a couple of the cash bundles to his body and parachuted from the aft staircase into a freezing rain somewhere over southwest Washington state, never to be seen again. While Cooper's true identity remains unknown, the ransom cash has provided key clues in the case over the years. In 1980, a young boy uncovered thousands of dollars of the ransom money, eroded along the Columbia River just a few miles from where Cooper may have landed based on aircraft data. This discovery finally confirmed that Cooper landed in the rugged mountain wilderness and survived the jump, at least for a time. The FBI tested the degraded bills for fingerprints, DNA, and other forensic evidence, but found no matches in their criminal databases. Investigators continue to believe more of the ransom cash may eventually resurface, perhaps holding the key to unlocking the mystery. Over the decades, the FBI pursued hundreds of suspects and leads related to the D.B. Cooper hijacking, but a few individuals stood out as the most credible and intriguing potential culprits. Dwayne Weber was one of the FBI's top suspects for years, a former World War II paratrooper trainer. Weber was interviewed by agents in 1988 after a key confession was reported to the Bureau. In his final days dying of cancer, Weber supposedly confessed to his wife about being Cooper and revealed he had buried some of the ransom money in their backyard fruit orchard in Bonnie Lake, Washington. This startling claim led the FBI to dig up the yard, but no money was found. However, agents did locate 2 rotting parachutes and many materials, including Eugene Vidocq noir books about famous unsolved crimes, leading investigators to conclude Weber had an unhealthy obsession with the case. To his death, Weber maintained he was simply a fan of the Cooper story, and not the real hijacker. Another suspect at the center of the FBI investigation was Barbara Dayton, a transgender author and former military veteran. After serving as a private in the Army, Dayton underwent gender reassignment surgery and lived for decades as a male-to-female transgender woman, eventually becoming a respected LGBT advocate. In the late 1990s, some evidence emerged linking Dayton to the Cooper hijacking, including her knowledge of aviation, skydiving skills, and finances around the time of the heist. However, she consistently denied being Cooper, and the FBI eventually ruled her out as a suspect. Lynn Dowell Cooper was also scrutinized by investigators due to his name similarity to the Skyjacker's moniker. A Portland resident at the time, Cooper largely matched the profile in composite sketches and supposedly bore a physical resemblance to witnesses' recollections. For nearly a decade in the 1970s, the FBI dedicated significant resources interviewing Cooper and his associates before finally ruling him out in 1980. With the plane's passengers released after landing in Seattle, investigators were left with analyzing scant physical evidence from the aircraft to determine Cooper's true identity and fate. One key clue was the cheap clip-on tie the hijacker wore that broke off during the heist and fell to the plane's cabin floor. However, it was ultimately lost by workers cleaning up after the incident. Sketches and passenger descriptions of this particular tie model from J.C. Penney became a crucial lead for years before being rendered moot. More promising clues were turned over by Northwest Orient employees, who found Cooper's tie clip and mother-of-pearl tie tack on the rear steps of the plane, presumably dislodged when he jumped from the aircraft. Both of these accessories provided potential forensic evidence, but fingerprint and DNA analysis never revealed a match in criminal databases. Perhaps the most compelling clues left behind were the coded instructions for hijacker money pack recovery contained in the ransom cash bundles. FBI agents spent years analyzing their meaning and if they could provide geographic clues to Cooper's potential whereabouts after landing. While the codes confirmed he must have survived the jump from the plane by virtue of having access to open the money, their true meaning remains unknown and debated. Other more circumstantial clues included tire marks and footprints on the rear stairs that potentially could be traced back to Cooper's shoes or clothing fibers, as well as cigarette butts and a London Fog brand attaché case investigators believe may have contained the bomb cylinders. While each piece of evidence has only added to the overall mystery, the FBI long held out hope that further revelations from the remaining ransom money or Cooper's remains would one day emerge and finally solve the nation's biggest open case. From the beginning, the D.B. Cooper case gripped national headlines and the public imagination. Despite an intense manhunt and one of the longest and most exhaustive investigations in FBI history, the Skyjacker became a real-life folk hero, a faceless mystery man who stuck it to the man and got away with an incredible criminal act. Cooper's audacious heist and vanishing act inspired countless movies, TV shows, books, and songs over the decades. He became a symbol of a cunning outlaw who took on corporate and government power, beat the system, and accomplished every American's dream of pulling off the ultimate heist and getting away with it scot-free. Over 50 years later, D.B. Cooper remains an elusive criminal folk legend. In 2016, the FBI's NORJAC, Northwest Hijacking team, officially suspended active investigation of the cold case due to the immense passage of time, but the agency says it will continue to follow any new credible leads that could potentially close this extensive unsolved mystery once and for all. Although dozens of suspects and theories have gone cold, Cooper's incredible disappearing act continues to defy solution, unless the unlikely scenario emerges of the discovery of the missing ransom cash, or Cooper's remains. The only unsolved case of air piracy in commercial aviation history seems destined to remain unsolved in perpetuity.